Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Taylor, my buddy Kenny. This is a show where we usually make Kenny watch things he normally wouldn't watch, except for we've just been going down the 40k rabbit hole. See, Bricky has released finally both parts of his Everything Re-Explained, which I've been jonesing to watch, and it's been super hard to not watch it. I ain't gonna lie, check this out though.
Hmm?
Oh yeah. We with it. We got them Thousand Suns. We got them Dust Boys.
That Thousand Sun
Can he be slacking? He ain't picked nothing yet. He's
well, I have it, but you know.
Now the real question is, do I need to figure out how to set up stuff so don't want anyone want to watch me put these guys together or paint them or whatever, glue my fingers together?
I mean,
let me know. I'll do it. I don't even care.
Or me whenever I pick something.
Oh no, we have to force him to do a paint stream, otherwise he ain't never gonna paint them.
Oh god.
Yeah.
I
so
mean,
you guys
that's
like and subscribe, comment down below, and yell at him to set up a camera and paint the stuff. I see he's actually cleared off some area behind him and actually got his paints out, so it's gonna happen. Now he's just gonna buy some
gonna happen eventually. And I just wanted to say I really appreciate all the comments expanding upon the lore and what we've been watching. It's really great.
Oh yeah, dude, it's great. I like reading what people have to
helpful.
People having to do, because we're kind of like super surface level, and then people delve into how the Death Watch work. Done a great job, but you know, it's this whole universe is very, very deep. Oh yeah, it's super interesting.
We kind of jumped in. Well,
originally I planned to record the Space Marine factions, but since he's got the remastered, I figured we hit or remake, whatever it's called. I figured we hit part 1 of that now. Again, we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna do it in chunks because they're so long. And that way we can.
One's pretty beefy.
That way I can ramble and whatever. And then you guys can tell me things that I'm mistaken on in the comments, and I'll read and reply.
And I'll eventually reply to something.
I'm gonna lie, I bought a couple books too, dude. I bought a couple 40k books.
You
last
did?
Last night at like 2 a.m. I bought like 4 books. I bought Hell's Reach and 3 orc books: Brutal Cunning, War Boss, and Big Daka.
Okay, so. I know nothing.
I don't either. That's why I bought them.
You don't. Well, great. You can.
And I like orcs. Orcs are great. Who doesn't like orcs? Orcs. I ain't gonna lie, guys.
They're randomized.
Between you and me, and nobody tell my wife. I was looking at Age of Sigmar, and
oh no,
there's a spearhead box full of orc boys with the heavy iron armor on. I'm gonna need to cop that. But we'll paint the other stuff first. But I'm gonna need some of that.
I think that pile of gray, as I've heard. Oh, shame.
No. It won't be shame. It'll be great.
Great.
Be great.
Well,
I'm ready whenever you are, unless you got something to add.
No, I think I've added everything that I wanted to add. Let's get started with the massive video.
All right, let it rip.
In the kind brightness of the far past, there was no war. Our galaxy was, for a long time, fairly empty and quiet. The first known species to appear during this time are known only as the Old Ones, cosmic entities that traveled across the galaxy with ease and seeded life through the stars. Shortly thereafter, a new species began to arise. The Necron Tier. Evolving under the harshness of a devastatingly powerful star, the short-lived and irradiated Necron Tier try to find the secret to eternal life and to be freed from their terrible existence. As they expand through the stars, they find the Old Ones and they plead to them to share the secrets of the universe and grant them purchase from their short and painful existence. The Old Ones respond with a lull and a Lamau, and with their immense power, they forced them back to their homeworld. The Necron tier, filled with rage and hatred, make it their duty to get revenge on the Old Ones. A revenge that would come swiftly as a chance encounter with other gods gave them a solution. These other gods were known as the Catan, a race of highly powerful star-consuming entities. Do not fear, young mortals, for we, the Catan, will provide you with the immortality you seek. Come now, won't you shake a poor sinner's hand? Quoted from Mephetron, the Deceiver. The Necron tier accepted the Catan's offer of immortality, but believe it or not, this turned out to be a ruse. A trick. The Catan crafted gigantic furnaces and began the process of biotransference. The Necron tier willingly walked line by line into the furnace engines made by gods who devour stars and had their souls consumed instead. The short-lived, irradiated, and cancer-inflicted race of the Necron tier ceased to be.
Yeah, that does look cool. So they went in, and it was far too late for them to turn back and say, maybe this isn't such a good idea to do this.
No. I'm pretty sure these people like they dragged them all through these machines.
They were like, you're locked into the line. You're coming in.
They were like, I think the people who didn't go like willingly were like chained, like everybody, like their whole race.
They were chained. Okay. Okay. Wow. That's even more brutal than how it was stated in
like their whole race. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And the immortal, soulless Necrons remained. Now backed by the immense power of the Catan, the Necrons rally against the Old Ones, and the bitter conflict in the stars at this time is known as the War in Heaven. Despite creating various races and entities to aid them in this battle, the Old Ones are overwhelmed and eradicated down to the last, due to the sheer power of the Catan fat off the souls of the Necron tier, and with an army of unthinkable robotic slaves at their behest. However, the Catan are greedy, spiteful gods, and when there was no foe worth killing, they turn on each other. The Necrons then put their sights towards the Catan and lay waste to them, securing their freedom. The once subservient Necrons now control their former masters. Worn out and weakened by these wars, the Necrons under their leader Zarek, the Silent King, lie dormant with a plan to eventually wake and reclaim control over the galaxy. Over millions of years.
Oh wow. So they were like, we're gonna turn on each other and then we're gonna finally break free. Basically, from everything. And they did.
Well, the Catan turned on each other. Right?
Yeah, the Catan, yeah.
Because every band falls apart.
Yeah.
It's usually the drummer's fault. But then that was the Necron's like chance to like, oh, we don't have to be slaves now. These dudes are fighting each other. We'll just rebel and we can wipe them out. And we know from the last video that they basically just shattered those dudes into pieces and kept them like Pokemon.
Kept them in like energy vats or something for
like giant Pokeballs. And I think they bust them out and they use them as like tools for war.
And then
but the Necrons have been so messed up from fighting gods and all that stuff. And I guess from the last one, I believe the Old Ones made the Quarks and the Eldari or whatever. And I guess the Necrons were fighting them. So it's like, hey, we need our own armies of little dudes. We'll make our dudes to fight the Necrons and whatever, right? Catans and Necrons versus Old Ones and
Old Ones,
elves and orcs, basically. Yeah. So like the Necrons are beat up from fighting. Let's see, they kicked one set of gods' butts. They had to fight the other new races, and then they turned and defeated the gods that betrayed them or tricked them, deceived them. So like the Necrons are pretty badass. But then now they're like at low power, and they basically go
Yeah.
to sleep to, I don't know, repair
To
protocols or do something.
re-energize or whatever they
They'll
do.
come back. I mean, I guess that they are immortal, so they're just like, we'll just wait out everything and let everyone die off, and then we'll come back and reclaim what's ours.
And hopefully, yeah. Wow.
And then make me spend money on a Necron army because I think they're cool.
Because they're complete badasses. So yeah.
They're space skeletons.
Yeah.
I need them.
Empires rise and they fall. The species created by the Old Ones have footholds over the galaxy, but on a pale blue dot in the thick of all this conflict, humanity begins to evolve. And for the most part, the basic path of humanity's evolution remains the same as it is now for almost 15,000 years. Right now, in the 21st century, this is canon. You, right now, Twitch streamer reacting to this video, you existed at a point in the Warhammer universe. But with time, humanity's ambition and the power of their technology becomes unmatched, and the golden age of expansion begins. Humanity starts to branch out through the stars with powerful tools used for agriculture, mining, and expansion. Some branches of humanity would eventually settle far away from Earth itself, and around this time, the psychic ability of humans are greatly expanded, and what we begin to know as psychers appear. But despite all the progress, things would begin to collapse. The machines created to aid humanity would turn on them in M23, an event known as the Cybernetic Revolt, and trade would begin to collapse due to the immaterial warp, aka actual hell, beginning to cause ruptures in space and time. These warp stones would separate humanity, and this would be what is known as the Age of Strife. The warp, a sea of soul.
So we almost have like Terminator type, or they have a Terminator.
I mean, they did,
type.
the war against the machines. The same, classic sci-fi. AI is dangerous. AI decides, let's just kill all the people. I mean, the clip there was from The Matrix. But then breaching Zion,
and then they find the warp stuff, which is even more deadly, it sounds like.
Storing all thought, emotion, and the souls of those who have passed on begin fluctuating into something terrible, as far on the horizon, something horrendous was brewing. You see, the warp isn't just a random assortment of chaotic energy. It is fairly well organized, thanks to those living in the galaxy. The warp itself acts as an afterlife of sorts, and the actions of the innumerable amount of creatures who live in the galaxy have manifested a pantheon of organized entities known as the Forces of Chaos. At their helm are three major entities: Khorne, Nurgle, and Tzeentch. However, a fourth one, Slaanesh, was about to be born. The ancient Eldar were one of the first species created by the Old Ones, and due to their extreme and unbridled excess, the birthing of Slaanesh tore a hole in the galaxy and forever split the Eldar into those of the craft world, who sought to bring their species back together, and those of the Drukhari, who wished to continue what caused the birth of Slaanesh in the first place. The birthing of this fourth chaos god settled the warp storms of the Immaterium and ended the Age of Strife. But humanity was still fractured. So one man revealed himself and spearheaded an immense attempt to reunite all the fractured pieces of humanity. That man was the Emperor of Mankind. After reclaiming the nearly destroyed Earth, the Emperor embarked on the unification wars to unite humanity under the banner of the Imperium of Man. However, due to the very long and devastating impact of the Age of Strife, humanity as we know it is not the same. To reconquer Earth, the Emperor would need more than mere men. Great beings, known as the Thunder Warriors, were recruited by the Emperor to reclaim the Earth with ease. But these warriors are a blunt tool and had,
nice pause. That looks like the Iron Man armor when he built it in the cave versus like the Iron Man armor now, right?
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Like,
like, you know, like the Thunder Warriors are like your precursor to like Space Marines, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay, that's really cool to see, like, first, like, prototype armor. That's really cool.
Overstayed their welcome. He would need something better, and that solution would be known as the Space Marines. Superhuman soldiers that will have the skill and cunning exponentially greater than the mortal man. These new warriors would be commanded by an elite group of his very own sons known as the Primarchs. Unfortunately, though, Daddy didn't charge the baby monitor, and his 18 sons would be stolen by the forces of chaos and scattered across the galaxy. This would begin the Great Crusade, a monumental task to take back the stars in the name of humanity and reclaim the lost Primarch sons. However, he would need the fires of industry to make this happen. Looking to the distant cousins of Mars, the Emperor signed a treaty with the technologically irradiated hellscape of the Red Planet and allowed the cult of the machine god, the Mechanicum, to supply his crusade. While Space Marines were the tip of the spear, their numbers pale to the vast might of the Imperial Army.
Mechanicus, like, enjoyer.
Enjoyer?
I think their stuff is cool. I mean, I guess it's kind of steampunk-ish, but not, it's like steampunk, but not lame.
Yeah, I just like.
I love it. It's great.
I like they have to pray
they can fix my
to the
car.
machine god. So
I do that every time I'm working on a muscle car. I pray that it works. It should work. Everything mechanically should work, but does it?
But does it?
No.
Start praying.
No, I hit that incense to the Mopar.
Yeah.
Pray to I pray to the Dodge brothers that it's going to work.
Yeah. No, definitely a cool aesthetic.
Navy. The Astra Militarum and their seemingly endless numbers make up the bulk of the fighting force for humanity, supplied by the intelligence and prowess of various agents of the Imperium, such as rogue traders and assassins. Due to the lack of connectivity between the worlds, what a society had become over thousands of years became mysterious and varied. Tools once used for harvesting and agriculture now are being used as machines of war in the form of Imperial knights. Some of these fractures of humanity would even be changed further and become unrecognizable to the average human, with differences in size, skin color, appendages, cat ears sometimes. Some would go so far to become their own galactic societies.
Space dwarfs! Space dwarfs!
You want that space dwarf, don't you?
I want 90% of this stuff. Don't worry, I will eventually get it. Why'd you pause? Keep going. Unpause.
Keep going.
It's like the miners of the Galactic Core and their immense supercomputers forming the Leagues of Voton. After an incredible amount of effort and books, the lost sons of the Emperor would be reunited, and the Imperium of Man would be firmly established. This, however, would not last. Be it intentional or accidental, the Emperor would not reveal to his sons the true nature of the galaxy and the terrors of the warp. And this oversight would result in one of the most impactful wars in humanity's history. They weren't old enough for social media. The favorite son of the Emperor, Horus, would fall to the powers of chaos and turn on his father. This betrayal, this backstabbing, this heresy, this Horus heresy
he said the thing.
Result in a split in the Imperium with devastating consequences. Half of the Emperor's loyal sons would fall to chaos and become the Chaos Space Marines, along with the forces of the Dark Mechanicum and the Chaos Knights. The conflict would result in the absolute obliteration of Horus and the physical death of the Emperor himself. The near-dead body of the Emperor would be placed on the Golden Throne to serve as a beacon of humanity and allow for the continued ability to travel the stars, protected by his most loyal, the Adeptus Custodes. The Imperium would be vulnerable during this age of rebirth, and Terra would find itself under siege by one of the most formidable species in the galaxy, the Orcs. As time went on and memories of the Emperor's vision began to fade, the Emperor would become less of a head of state and more of a religious figure, and the Imperium would change to reflect this. The leadership on a planet would be at the behest of the High Lords of Terra, and their actions would be courtesy of the incomparable power and authority of the Inquisition. The zealots of the Imperium would intensify and create a brand new era known as the Age of Apostasy. And this ecclesiarchal command of the Imperium would end up with one of the strongest fighting forces of Terra, the Adepta Sororitas. Over time, this age would come to pass, and we would approach the 40th millennium of Warhammer 40,000.
There we go. Said the thing.
Which, you guessed it, would come with its own form of problems. A primitive species once found during a recon mission would be able to evolve in relative secrecy for 6,000 years, becoming a highly advanced coalition of aliens known as the Tau Empire. And if the threats of the galaxy weren't bad enough, there are threats from outside the galaxy. As a monster has begun to wrap its tendrils around the Milky Way, the Tyranids, monsters that serve a psychic hive mind and present tactics previously unseen in the Milky Way, be it a direct assault with their monstrous bug-like presence or through the more covert gene stealer cults. The presence of yet another threat in the galaxy is proving to be overwhelming to the Imperium. In the 41st millennium, there is no peace among the stars. At any point, your life can and will be threatened by the Xenos races uncountable, or by the arch enemy of chaos within, or by the decroded terror that is the Imperium itself. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. Forget the power of technology and science, or the safety of promise and understanding. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only war.
Dude. I ain't gonna lie. That's a sick intro. That whole thing was the intro, and it was sick.
That was.
That gave me goosebumps.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun.
A fantastic job once again, Mr. Kurz, the Night Haunter himself. Oh, didn't you love that, my faithful audience? Once again, we have another criminal over the course of 6 hours break every single bone in his body. And with that, once again, our glorious leader has brought the crime rate to 0%. Always brought to you here on the Strawman News. I'm your host, Bricky. Thank you once again for joining us. Our top stories for tonight. The weather forecast appears to be rainy with extra dark, so make sure you pack those extra batteries for your lamp packs. And of course, let's not forget the fantastic gang violence problem we're currently having. Oh, I'm sorry. What's that? Oh, right. It's gone.
Okay.
It's looking to be a chilly one tonight as well.
Good.
So make sure your skin capes are nice and tight.
It's like a poncho. Different.
Wait, hold on. One moment.
It's just in. What's going on?
Adamantium reserves have tripled?
Huh?
Wait, I'm sorry. Self-harm rates have gone down to 0%. The Night Haunter smiled? No. This could only mean one thing.
What?
It is the Strawman News' great privilege to bring some color back in your life with the brand new 3-part Gamer Subs drop exclusively on this here news network.
That's awesome.
That's right. Your esteemed host, Bricky, myself, is dropping a 3-part Gamer Subs release for pre-order, available now and only for a couple of weeks. Not only does it include a completely brand new artwork reskin of the Sweet 6-pack flavor, one of the highest selling flavors in the entirety of Gamer Subs, but it also comes with the first
I'm gonna need
ever
to try that flavor.
all-over print Gamer Subs 32-ounce jug. And if that isn't enough for you, if the phenomenal drink and drink holder is not enough for you, we have a desk mat to go along with it. That's right, the Herculean look of the brand new Sweet 6-pack style is here. We're still looking at muscles beyond belief, but this time we're talking taste. We're talking
it's really well done.
Smooth. And if that wasn't enough, I, your co-host specifically, should you pre-order all 3 of these items, will personally hand sign a note for you, thanking you for supporting this network. All of this you can receive for 10% off if you go down in the description of this video and click the link, or go to gamersubs.com/Bricky and use code Bricky.
Really
Save
cool.
10% off with code Bricky. Bring some color back into your life and increase production across the board for our glorious leader, the Night Haunter. Thank you, Gamersubs, for sponsoring the Strama News, and let us move on to our next scheduled
Gamersubs
program.
needs to sponsor me.
5 years ago, I made every Warhammer 40k faction a passion project of mine for a universe that I enjoyed so much. Its main purpose was to be a drawbridge, the separation between the layman who had only ever seen the big armored blue man situated neatly next to a Wetzel's Pretzels, and then the hardcore Warhammer warrior that was just too wide, and there was nothing bridging these two together. Since 2020, Warhammer has exploded in popularity thanks to COVID, quality game updates, and a few excellent video games, and a couple miniseries. The sheer volume of people who have told me they have purchased miniatures due to that video alone makes me feel as if Games Workshop owes me commission. However,
they do.
That video is incomplete. I was not a casual fan, but I was also not a hardcore lore junkie. In the 5 years since that video's release, multiple channels have sprouted up, and the drawbridge between casual to the obsessed has never been wider or easier to traverse. Even I, myself, have been a part of Adeptus Ridiculous, a podcast teaching lore in a much simpler and condensed form. Needless to say, I've learned a lot. Warhammer is so much more than just Spaceman shoots big gun. It has also grown substantially from its origins, being a Warhammer fantasy spin-off just in space. Now, it is a black library filled with immensely deep characters, difficult themes, and even some tear-jerking stories. It is a backdrop for a million stories over a million worlds, and I did not see its true depth in 2020. But now, I'd like to share what I've learned. We just had a brief summary of the world and each faction that takes place during it. And we did that because to truly understand each faction, we must understand what makes them the way they are. And to do so, we need to begin in chronological order, discussing their origins, their culture, their powers, and of course, what makes them oh so grimdark. So let's begin with the group that started it all and sing praise to the Infinite Empire.
The Necrons.
I'm gonna have to give you some.
As mentioned before, the Necron tier were the original form of the Necrons, an alien race far away from us that lived short, painful lives due to the irradiation of their star. Normally, this would manifest as like a sort of cancer, a space cancer of sorts. The Necrons are very much inspired by the ancient Egyptian aesthetic, but unlike the windswept dunes commonly associated with it, the irradiated hellscape the Necron tier endured was far from picturesque. This also translates into their hierarchy. They are a race of nobles and peasants. Most of the peasants would often live for their very short amount of time, only a couple of decades, while the nobles tended to have better care and would live a little bit longer, but still far less than the average lifespan of a human, even today in the 21st century. The leader of the Necrons was Zarek, the Silent King. He was the one who took the deal with the Catan and the Deceiver. Of course, he wasn't aware of the fact that they were known as the Deceiver at the time, but the whole species was blinded by hate after being debased by the Old Ones on their quest to cure their illness. The sheer pain that underwent the Necron race can't be understated, as their fear was manic. The Catan are, of course, gods that eat stars, and when the leader of your species tells you to march into the gigantic green furnaces to ascend to immortality, you march. The scenes from these are long lines of both the peasantry and nobles clutching their loved ones in a frantic act to save their own lives. Many of them already inflicted in the late stages of this space cancer, some of them crawling into the biotransference furnaces, trying to outrace death itself without realizing death was the one who made these to begin with. What came out the other side was a soulless husk. And I say that literally. A soul is not an abstract concept like it is in our world, an immaterial version of oneself discussed and debated in religion and philosophy. No, in Warhammer, a soul is a real, tangible item of oneself. And the Catan basically were just like to every single person who went in their furnaces. If you were a peasant, you came out a Necron warrior, and you as an individual have ceased to be. You have no mind, you have no soul, and your body, as you know it, is made of an extremely advanced mass of re-knitting living metal known as necrodermis.
Oh, that one
you
back there has got
think
a big
for
old
yourself,
claw.
for you do not
cool.
have a brain to think with. All you do now is await protocols from your overlords, which are the nobles who came out of the furnaces with their minds intact, not their souls, mind you, because their minds are very much intact. These nobles now have command protocols, and they are able to command all of their peasantry and do with them whatever they wish. Zarek, the Silent King, is the most advanced of all the Necrons, a perfect metallic version of himself with incredible power and intelligence. His strength allowed him to lead the undead and the unthinking armies of the Necrons to battle against the Catan when they were at their weakest due to their incessant infighting and then win back their freedom. But gods cannot die. So in reality, what occurred is the Catan were shattered into thousands of pieces, and each shard of their god was trapped in a stasis vault and mind controlled to do the bidding of the Necrons they once enslaved. The biggest challenge they face now are actually the upstarts of the galaxy.
Look how
the
cool
Eldar and the Orcs were quite
their troop transports are sick looking because you have it's like that. And you have all the little dudes in there so you can see them all versus like, you know, when you have like a Rhino and you're like, I have, 45 Space Marines in my Rhino, but you can't see them.
You can't see them.
It's not real if I can't see it.
But wow, that's so detailed and it's great.
I think their stuff looks cool. All their stuff looks cool.
Yeah, they're aesthetic.
Prominent, and as you can imagine, a galactic war really takes its toll on the joints, or I guess the servos. It was in their best interest to wait out the galactic rise of the other races and come back at a more opportune time. So they went into stasis via these massive tomb complexes hidden beneath various worlds, biding their time until it was once again their opportunity to rule the galaxy. Zarek, the Silent King, as penance for his failure to his people, exiled himself into the darkness between stars for the next 60 million years with his perfect memory, a constant reminder of the doom he inflicted upon his people.
Others to sleep, but he stayed awake.
He'd stay awake the whole time because he was like, I failed my people. I
feels real bad about it.
Feel bad. He brooding for a long,
maybe he's doing arts and crafts.
Time.
Maybe he's painting minis.
Oh, that would be
meta.
Something
super meta.
Very meta. Very like I'm just painting, biding my time here.
I will say also, calling something like a tomb world sounds super cool.
Oh yeah,
and they're sleeping in these tomb worlds.
Tomb
worlds. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Forward to the modern day, and the Necrons are reawakening, but it isn't working as well as it could be. Whether the tomb world is reawakened naturally or by some imperial moron stepping on a green glowing rock, the Necrons have come back to reclaim a galaxy they consider rightly theirs. But 60 million years of hypersleep have taken their toll. Many Necron dynasties awake with systems unrestored and huge swaths of their population's minds completely lost. Necron nobles wake with various mental faculties compromised, sometimes exhibiting traits similar to excessive paranoia, schizophrenia, or even dementia. One notable Necron, Nemesaur Zandrek, believes that he is still back on his home planet fighting off separatists and interlopers.
Oh.
See, Oberyn, the Separatists come, attempting to outflank me as they did at the 4th Battle of Vindach. How they calculate that daubing themselves green and roaring like savages will produce a different outcome, I cannot fathom. But it is of no account. Ready, my legions. Another glorious victory shall soon be ours.
So
He's blasting orcs.
blasting orcs.
They're like
It's
old
just
people.
they're all well. I was about to say that it's like massive data corruption. I guess in there.
It's the ran fine when I parked it, but now it's been like 30 years and the car doesn't
30
run anymore.
Yeah, the batteries are
All the check engine lights are
dead.
turning on. Yeah, it's got problems.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Wow.
dig your old Pentium 1 75 megahertz computer out of storage and turn it on, and
The
Windows 95 don't work so good no more. Or,
doesn't work.
back then
and
it's probably 3.1.
and the thermal paste, it's all bad.
Oh yeah. We got
Yeah.
problems. We got problems.
We got
These guys
massive
have
problems.
problems.
Okay.
It's like
So that-
it's like all the boomers in the old folks' home, or not even boomers. It's like it's Grandpappy in World War II. In
Like,
the old folks' home.
back in my day.
Yeah, but some of them are still in those days. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, delirious and still living, still reliving that era and
Yeah.
whatnot.
So
That's-
is Zarek, since he didn't go to sleep, is he still degraded, or is he
Or
still
maybe-
a badass
maybe
with his
the-
perfect memory and everything, right? Is he
Well, it maybe he'll go into it.
since he didn't like Zarek didn't hypersleep, I guess. He just
Sleep,
kinda
maybe
was chilling.
hypersleep had hypersleep for that long has massive unintended consequences.
Yeah. I wonder,
So
yeah.
So yeah, it's like, we've never done this. So when we wake up, we don't know. We're assuming the best, right? We're assuming we're gonna be at max power and just take over the entire.
Oh, I don't know.
you-
I mean, I'm willing to bet they were all battered and messed up from all the war. So it's kind of like we'll all just go to sleep, let the repair stuff do its thing, and then we'll wake up and be cool
Yeah.
again. But I mean, can you repair back to 100%? Who knows? And I don't know how long they were intending to go to sleep. I guess they're all waking up now, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it's intentional or not.
Yeah.
Like Homeboy said.
Yeah, maybe it's like another
Like
way
we
to
woke
put
up
it. Like
early and we wouldn't, intending to wake up now. Who knows?
early. Yeah, maybe their repairs weren't done yet, or maybe it was like it's like, oh well, our battery remained for too long, in this state, so now they're just degrading.
Yeah, whatever
So-
facilities they were hypersleeping in could just malfunction.
Yeah, I mean,
Went to shit.
either
Who
way, either way could be possible currently. So we'll see.
Other individuals, such as the esteemed Imatech the Stormlord, seek to usurp the newly returned Silent King for rightful ruler over the Necron race, believing his time has come to an end. While scientists and archaeologists like Trazen the Infinite and Orikin the Diviner spend thousands of years bickering over artifacts and petty squabbles. Truly, the Necrons are a faction of unthinkable, unimaginable power, held back entirely by their own hubris and 60 million years of stasis. It is a species that does not know of time, only of the ravages brought by it.
Oh,
a
headshot.
pharaoh of a dynasty may just be as frightened to awake completely mad as they are to be assassinated while they sleep. Thousands of years pass in an instant. There is a play, like an opera play, a retelling of the war in heaven in the Necron culture that takes 40 years to witness, because why leave? You have no need to eat or vacate your bowels. You are immortal, but you are soulless. Despite the Necrons' incredible technology, their mastery over time, reality itself, despite all of this, they still are missing a soul. And therein lies the biggest struggle. Most Necrons look to conquest the galaxy, kill the interlopers like the humans, Eldar, and orcs that scrape at a fraction of their power.
Oh, yeah.
But the end goal for many, including Zarek himself, is to return the souls to their bodies, to undo the horrible fate he cast upon them.
Like steal
this
other
is not
people's
the interest
souls.
of all. Many simply
Yeah.
wish to rule their dynasty with an iron fist and kill all they consider unworthy. But to many others, it is to undo the decision that doomed them all. Before they can do that, there is a pest that needs exterminating. That is the fundamental understanding of the Necrons. They are so hyper advanced that their science borders on magic. They play with the fundamental aspects of reality and time. Their mastery of the physical galaxy is the strongest in the universe. Their weapons reduce people to the barest molecules, and they have devices capable of causing stars to supernova. They are unfathomably difficult to kill, as if you
Awesome.
do fell one of
Just
their
saying
number,
how
and
awesome they
living
are.
metal reknits
Yeah.
itself,
I
and
mean-
the reanimation protocols allow it to come
The guy's
back
like
alive
Deatomizer
once
has
again.
an axe
They're
on the end of
masters
it. They're
of
awesome.
teleportation, and often killing a Necron fully will just have its consciousness translocated back to their tomb world to await reassembly. Normally, they utilize large phalanxes of warriors and honorary combats, but some of them have fallen to various mind viruses. The destroyer cults are hell-bent on killing anything and everyone that lives with an overwhelming force. And then there's the flayed ones, Necrons cursed with I have no mouth and I must
Oh
scream.
my God.
A panic attack virus as the last laugh of Landogo, the Flayer Catan. Slowly losing their minds, they strip apart their foes and adorn their bodies with the skin of their enemies, trying to better return to their old feelings of flesh and blood. The
makes sense.
Necrons are a degraded version of their mighty empire and still one of the biggest threats in the galaxy. The only thing keeping them at bay currently is their awakening sickness and their infighting with no care to the timeline. But they are coming. And slowly, they plan to rid this galaxy of the vermin that inhabit it. My people shackled the stars and broke mortality when the species you sprang from had barely left the slime pools it spawned in. Our wars burned reality, and the dominion of our kings is without limit. The ground you tread on is not yours. It is ours. The war in heaven was a catastrophic time for the galaxy, and as stated in the above quote, burned reality. Of course, souls exist in Warhammer, and in the case of the Necrons here, they were consumed by the star gods. This begs the question, however, if you were to pass on, expire, as one might put it, where would your soul go? The answer to this is the warp. In Warhammer, a soul is real. And so is hell. The afterlife, the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium. All of these names refer to the dimension parallel to our own known as the warp. Now, the warp is not like our reality. It does not follow the classic normalcy of time and space. It is defined as the
Say that,
Sea
but you
of
don't have
Souls,
kids.
and it acts like this in a more literal way than you can realize. To imagine the warp is to imagine the sea itself. Hell is real, and you can surf on it. It has a current and can become more dangerous depending on where you go and how bad the weather is. As the Immaterium is a reflection of our reality and of our souls, all thoughts, all emotions, all feeling that goes with a soul is passed on into the warp. If an entire planet decides it's going to engage in a blood-fueled rampage of murder and gore, then the warp around that planet will be affected in a similar manner. It's not something that you can see. It is a parallel, not perpendicular dimension. But it is changing. To expose oneself to the warp for any period of time invites certain death outside of the most iron-willed of individuals, and to stare into it will drive one mad. Much like the open seas, things dwell in the warp. Whether these beings were always there and were just emboldened by the carnage of the galaxy, we can only speculate at. At a time, you could say it was more calm. But a certain faction's galactic war in heaven didn't do it any favors. Now the warp is turbulent, and its realms belong to a pantheon of gods known simply as
All right, here's my question. Necrons are like robot space skeletons with no souls.
Yes.
So they're great for like slaughtering Tyranids because Tyranids ain't gonna eat them.
No flesh.
Right? No flesh.
Yeah.
But then they can't be corrupted by chaos because no soul, right?
Yes.
Necrons are the best.
Yeah, it kind of sounds
I'm
like
just
it.
throwing it out there. Necrons kind of sound like they're the best. I don't know. It's also similar to like the orcs, where like all the infighting is like holding them back. Also, the obviously decrepit compared to modern stuff.
Yeah.
Necron's OP, yo.
And maybe this hasn't happened yet. What happens if they somehow get back their soul? Do they?
I don't think they can. Their souls were eaten.
They can.
Consumed.
Their soul were eaten. Well,
the Catan consumed them, got jacked up, and sounds like used that juice to
power themselves, right?
To fight the old ones, right?
Yeah.
But I mean,
from what
I assume you can't recover your souls. They didn't go to the warp. They got eaten. Kind of like how, I guess Slanesh eats the Eldar souls, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
I think they're just like, you're done. Your soul's done. Otherwise, there might be some resurrection mechanic or whatever mechanic in this universe. But I think if you're consumed, it's like food. And what happens when you eat food? You poop it out in the toilet. Their souls were pooped out in a space toilet.
Space toilet. Not
different than a skibidi toilet. Very different.
Very different.
They're still OP. Now, can they use their technology to steal other people's souls? Would be kind of cool.
Yeah, and I thought he was like saying, "Hey, they're looking for souls," but I get that
they want to like undo their. It's like trying to. It's like if it was Phaetus and you got cursed, and you're trying to undo your curse, right? It's a similar, I guess, concept, but I don't think you can get your souls back, dude. I think they were eaten. Someone will tell us in the comments, like, who's read Necron
like Pirates
books.
of the Caribbean here.
And someone will let us know if it's possible to get their stuff back. Here's what I want to know. Someone in one of the other videos expanded on the Eldar about having like a soul stone, where instead of Slanesh taking their soul, you die, the little stone they have will like absorb the soul into the stone, right?
Oh,
so obviously there's some sort of tech that exists to capture souls before they can go to the warp, or before Slanesh can eat them. Can they do something similar to where they can use that tech to, hey, go take other people's souls. We can kill other people, take their souls, and now I'm you, or I take your soul and I use that. And it's kind of like the Catan took 8 souls to juice up.
8 souls.
Necrons need to figure out how to take souls and juice up. That's what I need. I need I need a 40k. When Battle Axe 72k comes out, the Necrons will be juiced up on other people's souls.
Up and ready to
souls are dumb.
And like ready to be almost at their maximum strength.
That'd be cool. It'd be like an offshoot.
It sounds like if they were at full strength, they just would go ham on everyone.
But I think that's the whole point of this whole setting, that no one's at their full strength, right? I guess the Tau is, but they're new, right? They're still on the rise. But like
Tau.
orcs fight each other.
That
holds them back, right? Humanity's lost all their tech after the AI and all the warp and Age of Strife, Dark Age of technology, all that stuff, right? So humanity is like back. Held back. The Eldar are obviously held back. So I think everyone is held back from their potential was up here, and now everyone's down here, and that's what makes it interesting. Except for the Tau over 6,000 years, he said have like rose up to match. So it's like you have this even playing field because you've nerfed all these other races somehow. They've nerfed themselves
from being maximum power.
Yeah. Otherwise, the Necrons would just wipe the floor with everybody. It sounds
like they would just wipe out everyone.
Yeah, the Necrons are the only ones that have killed gods, as far as I know.
Yeah. I mean, and maybe there's something out that has, but from what we
as far as we know.
As far as we know currently.
Yeah, who else has fought gods? Maybe, well, I guess it makes sense if the old ones made not the orcs, but their precursor race and the Eldar. They also have fought gods. They lost though. They lost.
They
Necrons
did.
killed their creators and their own creators.
Yeah.
And now they busted.
They very busted.
But
They're so busted they had to be nerfed.
well, no, I meant busted not as in like that. It's in like they're busted up. They're garbage. They're trash.
Oh,
they're trash
okay.
now.
That
They had to go to sleep. Not like busted
They
as in
had-
cracked. As in, I'm not using the slang the kids use.
Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. But yeah, Necrons sound great
Necrons are
so
great.
far. Yeah. So
Third army to collect. Third
army
You're gonna
maybe
do Thousand Suns. Okay. And then I'm probably gonna do Astra Militarum.
Mm. I'm still with.
You haven't even bought anything yet.
I haven't bought anything.
Hurry up.
Yeah.
Hurry up and spend money. Bricky
spend
demands
money.
sacrifice.
Yeah, Game Workshop demands soccer.
F those guys.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna be painting the Thousand Suns. I'm thinking of paint schemes already. I need to do a couple test paints and see. I need to look and see what paints I have.
I'd still need to paint my one test mini that I primed. So
that doesn't even. Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
To practice on.
I don't want it.
You can't mess it up. It's water-based paint. You just wash it off.
I know.
Paper towel solves all. A cup of water fixes it.
Paper towel solves it all. That's fine.
All right, so what has that been like 30 minutes on the Bricky video?
Yeah.
All right, you want to end this here? We can come back and do another part. I could eat some pizza.
Yeah, we get recharged and learn more about the chaos. I assume that was a lot.
This I will say, we've only watched a small chunk so far of this. His presentation, I think, in his storytelling or whatever, has gotten much better since the previous one. I ain't gonna lie, dude. During that intro, I got goosebumps. It got me hyped.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
man, that whole Necron section, I could watch that thing over and over. It's done so well. And
there probably stuff I missed, and I would like keyed in on it pretty well.
Yeah.
But
I can't wait for more chaos stuff.
There's so much.
My boys, my dust boys. Oh man.
Yeah.
Oof. I'm ready for it. All right, yeah. Well, then let's ready. Unless you got anything else to say, let's take a break.
No. I'd say we come back and learn about the chaos.
Part 1. This is part 1A. We'll do a part 1B. CD. I don't know. These videos are much longer than his other one. These.
Yeah.
So we'll chop them up. But
yeah, make them manageable.
Yep.
So yeah,
it's pizza time.
Yep. See ya out there.
Yeah. Later. Thanks for watching.
Later.